Hi guys, it is Gretchen, Miss Gretchen, and it is time for Craftaholics, which reminder, it is for our adults. We do allow older teens to participate, 16 and older. Today's project, we are going to make a bookshelf diorama. Basically, you're going to make a little scene that you put on your bookshelf, and you can put your books on either side of it, which will show you at the end what it looks like. And so you have just this little hidden cove, as it were, in your bookshelf. So today, the two that we're going to give you the options to mess with was either Harry Potter or a scene from Narnia. You have the option to choose whatever scene you want to make. You don't even have to make it book related. You can just make a winter scene, whatever works for you. All right, you're going to pick up a box from the library. Inside the box will be what we're supplying you. You're going to have some dark blue paper for your background. You can then choose if you're going to do a Narnia or a Hogwarts picture, a diorama. You're going to have some trees, and they will probably come like this, but stuck to your fuzz. You will have some fuzz. You will have a string of lights and a little lamppost. They don't really mention lampposts in Harry Potter, but I like lampposts. And then there will be a little box inside of your big box. What we're asking you to provide, sorry, the trees do shed, I'm warning you all now. We're going to give you a couple sheets of glue dots, but if you need more, you might need some glue dots. Some tape if you want to, scissors, or a X-Acto knife, whatever you like using better. On these, I've pretty much used my scissors and a paper cutter. If you don't have a paper cutter, just draw a line, make a mark. I cannot cut lines straight to save my soul, so we use a paper cutter. Hot glue is probably a definite you need to have. So hopefully you have your hot glue gun at home. And then what I like to do is I like to add some stuff to my little dioramas. These are great. You can go to Walmart and get these little gem things for like $1. You get a whole page of gems. Or you can go to Dollar Tree and get a whole container of pictures, of stickers for $1. So I would say if you want to add some bling to your diorama, go check out, see what they have. You can go use Michael's, Hobby Lobby, all the big places, but they do cost a lot more. I like that these are 97 cents and these are $1. So that's just Miss Gretchen being cheap, but I like it and they're really pretty, so I'm all for it. So the first thing you're going to do is after you get your stuff home, go ahead and take everything out. Make sure that you have the supplies you're going to need. Alright, first thing you're going to do is this flap. You actually don't need it, it's just a great way to carry everything home. So just go ahead and cut it off. So this is what your diorama is going to be built off of. If you want to make sure that your box stays really closed, I have put some glue on my flaps just because I don't like them popping up. But you could also just get some packaging tape and tape your box so it's tight, so it doesn't start popping apart. Because ideally we want this to stick in our bookshelf for a while. The good news is your books will hold it together as well, but this gives you just a little bit of extra staying power. Do not get rid of your lid yet, because what we're going to do is we're going to create a little bit of a lip here so that your stuff doesn't fall out, and you can actually give yourself a little more dimension as well. So what you'll do is, I don't want a huge lip, okay. So I just use either my scissors, my X-Acto knife, whatever, and I'm going to straighten this up a little because remember when I said I can't cut a straight line. And then just give yourself however much of a lip you want. I wouldn't make it too big because then it'll mess with your perspective, but give yourself enough of a lip that you have something to anchor things to. And as you see with the paper cutter, it doesn't go all the way through, but then you can just use your X-Acto knife or your scissors and just score it down. And please don't cut yourself. Anybody who's done a craft class with me knows that it is entirely possible that I will cut myself, but please don't cut yourself. All right. All right, as you can see, this is actually longer than our box, so we just want to measure how far we want it. I'd say that looks good. All right, so what you'll do is this is where I definitely like to use the hot glue. This is what I suggest and I recommend is you just hot glue it down to the bottom so you already know where your edge is. And if you get a little extra, it's fine because it's actually going to help you in the long run. Let it sit on there until it's nice and solid. All right, so now you know where your lip is going to be, and I still have wet glue on the bottom. So let it dry. All right, so once you're in here and it's all nice and dry, we're going to put in our background. You may put, I'm giving everybody 3 pieces of paper, which should be more than enough paper to do all 3 sides, and if you want to do the top as well. It is your call. I did not on mine do the top, but I like the white having the lights reflecting off of it because it gives you a little bit more light. So that's just your call. You decide what you want to do. So go ahead and measure your paper. How far down you want to go. It is going to be, if you put your lid in first, it is going to be the paper is exactly as long as the box. You're going to have the lip here first this minute, so just right now you're just measuring how far deep you want to go. You can use a pair of scissors, you can use a pen, a pencil, whatever you want. I would just recommend you do it on the back side of the paper because that's just the way you can hide your flaws. So we know this is the exact same size that both sides are going to need. So I'm just going to use my paper cutter and make exactly the same size. All right, and we know the back is the same height, so now all we have to do is just measure from the back and see how wide of a paper we need. And again, just use scissors or whatever you want to use to measure it. And go ahead and cut it. And the cool thing is this measured from the back, it looks like your paper is too small, but you've got all the folds on the inside, so you don't have to worry about that. All right, and then you have some extra paper to play with if you need to. So I advise that you do the back first and just use some of your glue dots if you'd like. You won't need many, you just need 1 at each corner, maybe 1 in the middle of the long part. just so that it's not coming down on you while you're decorating it. Because once all the decorations are in, it's pretty much not going to move because you've got a lot of things glued in there. Like I said, we will give you a couple sheets of glue dots to use if you don't have any at home. All right, once it's in, you just go over your lip, you go to the back, and you put it down. So it'll look like that. And we're going to do the same thing with both sides. So give me just a minute, we'll get those all in. Alright, so this is how it looks with the blue background. Again, you can change this if you want, whatever you have at home. If you want to make it a sunny day, put bright blue in there. If you want to make it a rainstorm, put gray. It's really your call. This is just what we suggest, and we're book nerds, so we like Hogwarts and we like Narnia. So our next step is we're going to put this other little box down here to be able to use so it gives us height. So if you see how this is three-dimensional, this is what we're doing to help us with it a little bit. So what I just did is I just put some hot glue on it and I just glued it down because that's really all it's doing, is just being there for stability. Okay, so as you can see, I've just got it glued back in the corner so it won't move or wiggle while we're putting our things in. This is where you decide what you're going to do as your background. We did Hogwarts over here, so I'm going to cut out my wardrobe and my wood path, and so we can get that put in. Ah, they're cut. That was a little movie magic there for y'all folks. All right, this is all about perspective. So you're gonna want your background to be higher in the air, but don't make it so high that it doesn't work for what your aesthetic is going for. So I'm gonna put him just a little bit higher, because I want him to, the lamppost, if you read the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the lamppost is in the front and they take a path through the wardrobe into spare room. Alright. So as you see, he looks really silly right now because he's just floating in the air and just not doing anything. This is where we're going to now put in our filler, and this is what's going to give us our great snow scene. So we're just going to take, as we've learned, especially if you just did our storm lamps, when hot gluing fiberfill, a lot of glue helps, and just do it in patches, because if you do a whole bunch at once, your glue is going to dry before you can get all of it to stick, and then you have to reglue it anyway. So we're going to go ahead and get that done. Okay, so basically you're just going to put your streaks of glue down, and I want my glue, or my foam, to come up pretty close to the top. And you're going to use both hands probably, because it does take a little bit of extra maneuvering. And then you just put it down. And then you can peel it away, pick where you want it. You can make it go higher, you can make it go lower. This again is where you want this to be. So I'm gonna put some glue down here, put it on our step. So this is gonna where we get the height and the 3D dimension. And then you're gonna just put it on there. And then you see things like this where you have a hole, you can just add some more glue and just put it in there. helps if you're ambidextrous with your glue gun because you have to go in all different angles. And then this is where you decide how deep you want yours to go. So right now it looks, you can definitely see my step. I'll put more glue here so it's more of a, looks like a rolling hill type thing. And then see how it fills it out there? And you can decide if you want the snow to go all the way up here. But since we're doing Narnia, I want to leave a little spot here for my lamppost because it's a very important, it's in the front ground of your picture. I mean, of your diorama. So I'm actually, because it's, I'm just going to give it a big puddle of glue that I can put in. And then you can manipulate your foam around, your fuzz around it and make it. And if you want to make it a little more stable, glue it to that front part of your diorama. All right, and so I think I want a little more fuzz right here just because it doesn't come all the way up to the edge. All right, so there's our wardrobe, there's our lamppost. So now we're gonna put in our path to make it lead from one to the other. And you do have a path put in perspective so that you can, it does go from bigger to little, so it looks more like you're going towards it. You can do, I highly recommend you do hot glue on this because you're gluing it to the fiberfill. So let's go ahead and get that on there real quick. And just be careful, don't burn yourself. Hot glue is hot. And this is where you kind of pick your place and then work your way back. And then I think I want my path to go a little farther down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of glue here on the front, and then I'm going to bring it down a little bit and push it to my wood so it's not going anywhere, or my edge. All right, so if anybody who's read Narnia, when she's walking through the wardrobe, and she first goes through the fur coats, and then she starts going through some trees. So I'm going to put my trees up here around the door because in the book that's what she did. So for the glue on these, I just big old glob around it, and then you just set it in where it looks good. And so I think, I'm sorry, you can't see what I'm doing right now, but I just need to see for something. Okay. So, sorry, there you go. So what I did is I just glued the top of his tree right up there so that it's sitting right by the door. So let's go ahead and put a couple more in. And again, if you want other miniatures, there's all kinds of really cool things you can do. I've seen some amazing bookshelf dioramas. And then you just get some miniatures. Just do, you can get them on Amazon. You can go to Hobbytown, which is a miniature store. It has a lot of, they build trains and stuff, so they have all kinds of really cool stuff in there. You can go to Michael's, you can go to Hobby Lobby. Almost everybody is into the gnome garden thing right now. You can get seriously some really cute stuff. Like I thought about doing one with a camper in it and some gnomes and have like a really cool little gnome party. You could do a beach party, put some sand down there, or whatever you want to do. This is really one of those things that you can just go with it and have a blast. So this is how we have it right now. We have not added our lights yet. So that's our next thing. And I'm gonna have to put it back down on its edge to do this. So for this, you're gonna need some Scotch tape and your little thing of lights. Make sure you pull the tab out of your, working with fiber fill and glue, you're gonna have it all over you. Make sure you pull your tab out of your thing and then just wind your lights real quick. All right, this is wired lights, which are really kind of cool. So you can make the wire do what you want. And I just honestly just use Scotch tape to hold it where I wanted it to be. And on the inside here, I just kind of pushed it back and came over. So what I chose to do when I did mine, I wanted to make sure mine is evenly measured. Just because you don't want your light pack being up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it down on its bed. And I'm going to put my first one right behind the edge of my thing. And so you're just going to get a piece of tape and you're going to put a little bit of tape just right behind your background. Push it onto the thing, just make sure that it's nice and on there. And then decide where you're going to start. Just tape it down. I have a piece of glue right where I'm tying the tape, so that's why it's being a little difficult for me. All right, so you just go up your sides, how much you want. If you want your lights to be more around the edge or loopy, you can bend them. This is the great thing about the wire, is you can really manipulate it however you want it to be. If you're really talented, you can make like a star out of your lights and just put it in there and hang it in there. I am not that talented. I go with the things I know that Miss Gretchen can do. This category. All right, and so you just put it all the way up. And as you can see, you can almost not see it on the background. And if you do not like having the tape on the outside, you don't want it visible, get some scrapbooking paper and you can decorate the outside. You can get some wallpaper samples. You can do, you can even do the shelf paper if you find some really pretty stuff. I've seen it in all different colors. So let's go ahead and get this last one in here. And this is where I'm going to now go over to where it ends, so I know I have enough to go from end to end. So we're going to do the same thing here. You probably don't even need that much tape. I'm going a little closer than probably you need, but I like to have it nice and tight around the edges so I have that light on the edge. Alright, so now here's where you decide what you want to do with these lights, because you can now, again, they're wired. You could leave them like this, but that would probably be interfering with your bookshelf. Just call me crazy. So what you can do is you can bend it in here and then decide how much, where you want this. So if you look in here, I have it just in a loop, but you can do it zigzag, do it however, whatever works for your purposes. I think I'm just gonna try, I wanna try something, see if it works. That's all you can do, is you can try it. If you don't like it, you can always start over. All right. So what I did is I just did a little swap. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. All right, and so that is my Narnia bookshelf diorama. Next you can do is, this is where you can have fun with it. You can decorate it. So I've got these little pearls I think would look really cute as snowflakes, because it's always winter in Narnia until Aslan comes back. Or I have these really pretty ones that I can put on the outside of it. So I think I'm just going to put a couple of my snowflakes in there real quick so we can make it look really cool. And this is always helpful if you leave your lights on when you do this, so you can see what reflects really good or not. So give me just a minute. Let me put some. All right. And so there you go. There is our bookshelf diorama. And you can, like I said, you can make one. You can make whatever fandom you really appreciate, whichever you like to do. Again, as always, please drop what you make down in the comments below. I would love to see how creative you guys are. I know some of you out there are like super talented. Unfortunately, some of you also have my skill of tablets, so you can make something pretty. Like I said, just drop a line, say hello, show us what you made, whatever you like. All right, have a good day. Bye.